kids, my friends and I used to have sleepovers where we would stay up all night playing Pokemon. I was the only one in our friend group that had Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness, so we would play our Game Boys, catch some Pokemon, and then trade them to the GameCube to see what they looked like in 3D. During these sleepovers, my friends and I would often have weird shiny luck. Not always necessarily good luck, just kind of weird. For example, one time my friend caught a shiny Pidgey in Fire Red, only for it to be lost to oblivion shortly after. I'll save that story for a different time. Right now, I'd like to talk about a specific sleepover where I had my first ever Uncatchable shiny, an event which has left me permanently scarred to the point where I have overprepared for every single wild encounter since. So it was a Saturday morning after two of my friends had slept over. I was the first one to wake up, and if you've ever been the first one to wake up at a sleepover, then you probably know the predicament I was in. I don't want to make any noise, lest I disturb the sleep of one of my close friends, but also, I am very bored. Normally, it might be possible to sneak out of bed and creep into the living room, but this wasn't an option either. I was sandwiched in between both of my friends, trapped, imprisoned. Most people might have just tried to go back to sleep, but my childlike, excitable mind was already too active to fall back asleep. Also, one of them was snoring. This was it. All I could do was stare up at the ceiling until one of them woke up to free me from my shackles. But who knows how long that would take? Hours? Days, perhaps? It was then, out of the corner of my eye, I noticed my nightstand, fully within reach. And there, sitting on top like an oasis in a desert, was my Game Boy Advance SP Blue Edition. This one, to be exact. And next to it was my copy of Pokemon Ruby. Not this one, this is a different one. I don't actually remember what happened to my old one. So I figured I might as well start a new game. I hadn't exactly gotten very far in it before. The one I played most was Emerald. I turned the volume all the way down and began my Pokemon adventure in complete silence. The game started uneventful enough. I got off the truck, set the time, and visited May as I had done many times before. And then the moment came where I would pick my first Pokemon to save Professor Birch from the rabid Pooch Hyena. Trico is my favorite, and it gives May a Torchic like she had in the show. So I selected my Trico and got into the very first encounter of the game. And sure enough, it was a normal Pooch Hyena. I remember watching videos on YouTube of people who would find shiny Pooch Hyena as their first encounter, only to not be able to catch it because this is before they give you any Pokeballs. Relieved, I knocked out the Pooch Hyena and followed Professor Birch back to his lab. He then gave me my next assignment: go past the next town and find his beloved daughter May. So I start heading north when I get into a wild encounter. It's a Wurmple, but not just any Wurmple. It was, it was just a normal Wurmple. Sorry, my bad. I keep doing that. It won't happen again, promise. Anyway, I battle May and we go back to the lab together. Professor Birch gives me the Pokedex and May finally gives me some Pokeballs. So now, even if I run into a shiny, I'll at least be able to catch it. No more uncatchable shinies to worry about. None at all. I make my way to Petalburg City and head inside the gym to talk to my dad-da. Suddenly, a sick green-haired child named Wally walks in and begs my dad-D for a Pokemon. Disgusted, father lets Wally borrow a Pokemon so he can go out and catch one himself. I follow Wally outside and watch as he gets into a wild encounter. And then it happened. I got you. I have used a mind game tactic known as deception. Based on the thumbnail, you thought the Ralts was gonna be shiny, but it was a normal Ralts. You have been tricked. I bet you feel pretty stupid right about now. Alas, I have proven that I am the smarter squirrel and you are nothing but I screamed, immediately waking both of my friends. And you know what? They weren't even upset. I showed them the screen and they completely understood my vocal reaction. I didn't have a smartphone at the time, otherwise I probably would have taken a picture of it. My only proof that it actually happened are the two witnesses who were abruptly woken by my frantic screaming. Honestly, if I was Wally, I would have just ran off with a shiny Zigzagoon and not even bothered to catch Ralts. And then later on, Papa goes to check on his hard-earned shiny, only to find that he gave Wally the wrong ball. Whoops. As far as uncatchable shinies go, this seems to be pretty uncommon. There are some videos of the same thing happening in other games, even going as recent as the rivals Fletchling in X and Y, 3 whole generations later. Although I think they fixed it by Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. And ever since my first shiny fail, I have over-prepared for every wild encounter to ensure I don't lose one again. Not that any amount of preparation could have prevented this. So what have we learned today? If a sick child comes up to you asking for help, always refuse them, no matter the circumstances. Also subscribe and watch me when I go live. I'm probably live right now, maybe.